Okay, hello everyone. So my name is Andreas. I'm a PhD student in work package 3 in Hydrogen and at the Department of Industrial Economics and Technology Management at NTNU. So my research is about optimization models and methods for investments in existing hydropower plants, and I'm going to talk today about some background from this and some results that we have from one of the ongoing projects. So some motivation and background for my PhD is that many hydropower plants were built during the period 1950 to 1980, which you can see from this figure. So the average age of current hydropower and dam infrastructure is about 50 years. And when they were built, they were designed to operate under different climate and market conditions. So this has in later years increased the focus on upgrading and refurbishment projects due to outdated components in hydropower plants. So what I do in my PhD is to look at how to value such hydropower project and assess the economic potential. So what characterizes such investments are high investment costs, and that the decisions regarding implementing such projects are irreversible, and that there might be a value of waiting to start implementing projects to see how uncertainties such as prices and inflow or climate evolves. Another important aspect to consider when looking at the project is the increased flexibility and added value of changed operations. So when you increase the capacity, you have more flexibility to adapt your production schedule to uncertain prices, and you can produce more at high prices and store more water in low price period. So this is important to assess when looking at investment projects. And moreover, these new assets will have a very long lifetime, typically several decades. And what makes this problem of valuing these projects particularly difficult is the risks associated with them, or with climate and electricity prices and future market designs. So that is what I look into in my PhD, to try to understand how the value of projects might be affected by such risks and these features related to investment projects. So my main objective in the PhD is to develop optimization models and methods for calculating future revenues for hydropower and to support decisions in upgrading and expansion projects. So one work that we look into now with my supervisor at NTNU and some co-authors in the United States is to implement a model where we take into account the characteristics of the investment that I presented in the previous slides, where we account for the flexibility to adapt both investments and operations to future realizations of prices and inflows, and just to assess and to see how risks associated with future markets and prices and climate materialize on the policy that we get from the optimization model. So the output that we get from our model is kind of a decision rule that tells you how to act at any point in time in the future and at the price and inflow or the uncertain variables that are observed at that time. So we implemented this model in a case study, and these figures shows how you would or the decisions related to refurbishment will look like in this specific case. So what we do is we kind of simulate realistic price paths and see when you will invest in refurbishment and upgrades. So we see what I plotted is the next 5 years and the percentage of price paths where you will invest. And we tried different methods for specifying risks associated to climate and prices. And we see how the expected reservoir trajectory evolves in the same period. And typically you need to shut down the plant, and there's an availability period when you refurbish, which is the effect we see at the end of that period. And then we also look at sensitivity in the parameters that we specify that governs the evolution of the uncertainties to see how robust different policies are to changes in the underlying structure of the uncertainty. So yeah, we see in the lower figure that if you specify the mean price or if that increases, then expected revenue increases, and we have yeah, different approaches which shows how revenue changes with each one of them. So this project is in the final stage, and we're close to submit this paper, and I have a couple of other projects also going on with regards to investments and operations in hydropower plants. So that was what I had.